Gemini, Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your shift reading for the month of May. So we're looking at the shape you're shifting out of this month, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like for you. Gemini, before we get into the cards using the Slow Holler Tarot, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the image that came through as I was sitting with your energy here. So this is really cheesy. And I think the fact that I feel really cheesy about it could be important in your reading. But I saw a blank canvas, and then I saw water droplets dropping onto it, and I thought that they were tears. And then I saw those tears, like the liquid dropping onto the canvas, creating a pattern, almost like watercolor. You know, the way like you add paint pigment and then you add water to that and it sort of like bleeds into the canvas and creates an unpredictable pattern. And that's part of the art of watercolor. Maybe even like the Tao of watercolor or the Zen of watercolor, which is the beauty of that art form is its unpredictability. And water is the medium, you know, like water is the agent of unpredictability. So it's sort of like this cheesy idea being shown through this image of watercolor painting, that your tears, your emotional release creates, like that is your emotions and your specifically your expression of your emotions are the unpredictable agent that creates art. You know, that like that's what actually makes your life artful or your expression unique and artistic. It could also be talking about like transforming your emotions through creativity. I don't know. Gemini, I don't know. And you could be feeling kind of cheesy about that. You know, you could be kind of like, oh, that's too cheesy. I don't know. It's too cheesy to write a song based on my feelings. You know, it's too cheesy to paint what I'm going through. And it's like, maybe not. Okay. Here we go. First asking, what is the shape that Gemini is shifting out of in the month of May 2020? Happy birthday, you early seasoners. Okay. What is the shape Gemini is shifting out of? That was fast. Okay. It came out in reverse. I'm not sure if I want to take it in reverse or not. Visionary of Branches, Queen of Wands. Interesting, interesting. A very creative energy. Let's look at the shape you're shifting into and see if we can get some more info. What is the shape Gemini is shifting into in the month of May? Traveler of Stones. Some sort of release. I'm actually kind of seeing this as like the water droplets onto the paper. Letting go. Allowing yourself or something to unravel a bit, because we're seeing that hand unraveling, allowing something to unravel a bit in order to drop something that perhaps you've been holding on to that's been weighing you down. Letting it flow down the river. I mean, the watercolor imagery is definitely speaking of like letting things flow, letting the water go where it will and do whatever it's going to do. That's the beautiful thing about watercolor is you really can't control the image. That's what's exciting about it. And it can be what's scary about it for some painters. You know, that's why some painters use oil or other mediums, because they can control where the paint goes. With watercolor, it's much harder to control. And in fact, I would argue that the paintings are better if you don't try. If you just let the water do whatever it's going to do and then sort of continue to adjust the image you're creating based on that. There's really something in that for you, my friend. Letting things flow downstream. I don't know what this visionary branches is that you're shifting out of. I think I need more info. I'm gonna get the 3 cards in the middle here. What does that shape shift look like and feel like for Gemini in the month of May? One more. Yeah, exactly. More emotional release, 8 of Cups. What have we got? Okay, all right. You know, Gemini, give me a second. I'm being really, this might be really specific. I don't know, I'm just gonna say it. I'm being, sorry, let me, I'm like already into the reading. These are the 3 cards that came out to show to show what your shift looks like. The Magician, the 9 of Cups, and the 8 of Cups. And what I'm being drawn to here is these 2 beings, visionary of branches and the Magician, back to back. I'm getting a very particular, I mean, first of all, this is a very Gemini image. Opposing energies, sort of connected but facing away. Okay, the twins, you know, this idea of mirrors that Gemini energy offers. But the specific feeling I'm feeling is 2 people wanting different things. 2 people just want different things. That's kind of what this is. It's like a recognition that we are both incredibly powerful beings in our own right. Queen of Wands, Magician, incredibly powerful people, incredibly powerful energies, both very creative, both very like action oriented and but like they would go about things in slightly different ways. And you can see that they're kind of pulling away from one another a bit here. Even if this Magician is sort of looking back over their shoulder, they're definitely pulling away from one another because I'm just getting that they're wanting different things. And I'm saying that too because we've got the 9 of Cups talking about desire and emotional fulfillment. And I get the image with this card of like the tablecloth being pulled out from underneath and all the cards being, or all the, share the cards maybe, but all the cups being up in the air. It's like a freeze frame on that moment of the rug having been pulled out from underneath of you and suddenly everything's up in the air. It's almost like suddenly anything goes, or like suddenly maybe there's been some sort of a conversation between you and another where you're realizing that you want different things, or even if it's not a conversation, it's just a realization you're having. And so because of that, suddenly where life felt secure and predictable and clear, it feels like everything is up in the air. And our desires are up in the air, and like specifically emotionally, because we're looking at the Suit of Cups, emotionally, everything is up in the air. Interestingly, we go from the 9 to the 8. And I'm getting this idea, because it's going backwards, 9 to 8, that it almost feels like a regression. The 8 and the Traveler of Stones have a very similar energy for me in this reading, because they're both showing images of release, of letting go, leaving something behind in order to progress forward in a different way. And normally the 8 would move you to the 9. You know, it's like you're leaving behind something that isn't serving you emotionally, specifically, something that is not fulfilling you emotionally, something that's really not serving you. You're moving towards something that is going to serve you, something that is going to be your heart's desire or will bring you more emotional satisfaction and emotional security. And so you have this release. But what I'm feeling, I'm actually feeling I just keep feeling a conversation. There's like a conversation about what you want. This could be literal for some folks, but it doesn't have to be. But I could just be picking up on something kind of similar in your life. This is real specific. But it's like this conversation about what you both desire is sort of realizing that you're actually facing different directions and that you want different things. And if this is a relationship I'm talking about, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to break up. It's just like, it's a conversation that makes you realize you want different things. And so it's like you have to kind of backtrack your expectations and what you thought was going to happen in order to release your attachment or your emotional investment in things panning out a certain way. Releasing that, it's like opening the fist here in the Traveler of Stones, holding on to this dream or this idea or this way of relating emotionally, like whatever this is, and then just like allowing it to unravel a little bit. You know, it's almost like I'm seeing this unraveling as kind of a rewind, unzipping something that you thought was like totally zipped up. It's like, actually, hold on, let's unzip this and do something different. Let's take out the seams. We've sewed the seams. Let's unravel this. Let's undo this binding together thing that we've just done so that we can leave something behind in order to pursue what we really want. And I'm feeling a lot of fear associated with that because it suddenly feels like everything is up in the air. Everything is kind of like, it's like that watercolor painting where you don't know where it's going to go now. You know, it's really creative and it's exciting, and there's this blank canvas and you get to create something new, but you don't know where it's going to go. You don't know where the water, the river, is going to take you. And so you don't know what the end result is going to look like. You don't know where these cups are going to land. Interesting, Gemini. What's this about? Okay. You know what else is interesting here? I've also brought this card out that came through from the Marielle Tarot in your Global Pandemic Collective reading. It's a video that I posted back in March. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. This is the guide that came out for Gemini through the COVID pandemic, and that is the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords talks about releasing pain, releasing hurt, and releasing old emotions. It's like this dove is trying to fly free, but it's like they're holding on to all of these swords, and like, look at the talons gripping, that fist gripping onto the old pain. It's like, let that go. Okay. Release it, cry it out, let it go. Here's all those like raindrops, those teardrops that I saw coming out of the eye and onto the paper. It's like, let that go, release your grip, and just see where this goes. Because it's like, clearly you can't keep holding on to the pain of this, because the Nine of Cups is here saying lean into the possibility of fulfillment here. Lean into the possibility of emotional fulfillment and fulfillment of desires, even if that means shifting the way you thought things were going to go. Yeah. Okay. Gemini, we're going to get you a final word in this half of the reading from the Octospaumen podcast deck. And as I shuffle, I'll let you know that this is just the first half of this reading. I'm going to take this into an extended reading now where we will use other clarifying cards and oracle cards to really unpack this. I really want to figure out, like, what is this energy that I'm feeling of going your separate ways, or like wanting different things, and what needs to be released in order to allow that process to happen. So if that sounds like something you'd like to view, stick around. At the end of this reading, there'll be a little preview of that extended reading so you can make sure it's resonating with you. And if it is, and you'd like to view it, click the link in the description box below to take you over to Patreon. Patreon is an online community I've created for folks who've been following my work for some time and know that it resonates with them. That's you, and you want to dive deeper and you want to view this extended. Go over to Patreon, read the description that's over there so you know how the patronage works, and you will be able to view this extended reading. Okay, so Gemini, maybe I'll see you over there in that extended, but let's finish out this half of your reading with a little word from Octospaumen for Gemini. Interesting. First of all, this deck is incredibly sarcastic and cheeky. You need to know that. Because I think that this card is really speaking to you in that language. Control your thoughts and you will control your life. And this whole reading has been about releasing control. Right? This whole reading has been about whatever happens when the water hits the paper is whatever happens, and adapting around that. But it's true, like, if you can control anything, you can control the way you view things and the way you think about things, and you can control, perhaps to an extent, what you continue to hold on to emotionally, okay, mentally. Interesting. Okay, Gemini, thank you so much for joining me here on the channel. If you're digging this work, please do click the like button, subscribe to the channel. It just helps us grow here. And if you would like a personal reading, your birthday is coming up, I offer a special offering that works really well for birthdays called the Wheel of the Year. It looks at a card for the next 12-month cycle of the year for you. So if that sounds interesting, check out unseenhandshealing.com to learn more and get in touch with me. All right, Gemini. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Creative energy, absolutely a visionary, and absolutely the one in the soil, like tending to these seeds and nurturing them and growing them and helping them to fully bloom. Okay, so that's the energy of the Empress coming out in reverse. I'm just getting that, like, because there seems to be a separation here between the vision and the way that vision is being carried out. Maybe that's manifesting as a separation between two people and what they, like, a differing views, differing perspectives. Because of that, you can't really continue to grow here. That could be one interpretation. Another interpretation of the Empress could be what you were trying to grow and nurture together has to shift in some way.